Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of the Sound and Vision podcast. My host Matt here.
How's it going?
I don't want to call him a co-host. We're both hosts. So that's Mr. Host Matt. I'm Mr. Host Damien. And this is Sound and Vision.
Yay!
Yeah.
Awesome.
Alright, so for those of you who haven't followed us with our show, we talk about whatever we like to talk about. No, realistically, touch a little bit upon things that are going on sort of in news, maybe a little bit of science, maybe a little bit of pop culture, gaming, video gaming, and things that we like that are going on.
Whatever comes to mind.
Exactly. So the thing that I picked up on recently, big thing in the news, kind of a debate as to what's going on, is should we be using the same timeline in science that we've been using all this time? So we had Jurassic period and Triassic and all this stuff, and it leads us all down to the sort of modern era that we're in right now, which is in the big Cenozoic period.
Which is now delineated by Ziggy Stardust, and then the Thin Grey Duke, right? And then Tin Man, and now post whatever the 90s was, right?
Oh man, if David Bowie was only the way that we actually labeled everything in the timeline, I think the world would be a better place. War would pretty much just stop.
Right.
Because people would just be like, hang on, I just want to listen to this one song. Okay, never mind, I want to listen to the whole album. Just, could you set down your AK so I could just do this? So in the Cenozoic era, we have the Quaternary. And then right now we're set up in the Holocene era. That's the era that man has kind of grown up and done some big boy things, like made skyscrapers and whatnot. Which brings us to the question that people are fighting about right now in science, and that's, should the Earth's timeline now be defined by man-made events instead of natural ones? Because there's a lot of stuff changing. We don't really look like the Holocene anymore. We kind of look like this brand new beast that's starting because there's just climate change and rampant things going on, and it's not because the Earth is doing it. The natural environment is doing it. It's this one creature that's causing all this interesting stuff to happen.
Well, is there any particular definition to the word Holocene?
Holocene. That's a great question. Let's see what the interwebs have to say about them.
I think that from now on, it's sort of a weird question because whatever natural events are going to happen, it's going to be caused or at least be influenced by man-made events, you know.
It looks like Holocene itself was probably influenced by man-made events because the word holo is from the English word whole, and the word scene is from the Greek word kainos, which means we're talking about a whole new world. So basically this is when Aladdin came out on the scene, and Disney sort of coined this whole Holocene thing. So we live in the age of Disney right now, as opposed to something better like David Bowie. I mean, just in terms of epics of the world that were named after something Disney related versus Bowie related, look at how many wars there are in our world right now. It's clear that they're dropping the ball, and we're gonna have to move to something different.
Yeah, we're definitely using the wrong yardstick here.
Clearly, whole new world. That's what Holocene means. So what scientists are suggesting is that we call this new era the Anthropocene, named after man new something. Yeah. A manly world, or not just man, but humankind era, because we're the ones who are changing everything now.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense. I mean, I think whatever is going to change from now on, we will be the cause or be a significant factor to it.
I think it makes sense. The Holocene era, in the great scheme of things, didn't really last that long, but we're already at a point where everything we're doing is growing in this exponential sort of way. Our technology, our building strategies, our industry, We're really just becoming this crazy co-creator of environments on the planet.
Mm.
Obviously we work in bounds that are already existing, but we're creating a lot of stuff on our own.
Mm. But maybe we're even too quick to call something an era, because people in like the turn of the century, they weren't saying, oh, this is the Victorian age or whatever age it was. I think that a lot of words for eras didn't come up until scholars afterwards were like, oh, well, clearly if we look at history in this way, then this set of years, between this and this year, this is the such and such era. But most people during that time, they weren't like, oh, well, we only have 5 more years left until this era finishes.
You make a good point, and that's to say that we're making predictions sort of about Anthropocene if it does catch on as a title, and that's to say that we believe that this era will actually be like an era instead of a big bubble. Who knows? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
we decide to find a different way to live on this planet, or maybe we stop living on this planet, or maybe the planet retaliates and everybody gets Ebola or something. Who knows? I'm not trying to be
Mm.
a doomsayer or anything, but maybe Anthropocene doesn't like take off, and
Mm.
we calm down as a species, and we look back and we're like, yeah, that thing that was only like 200 years of really crazy industry, and then we just kind of pieced out for a while. And so, in light of things that are happening with the whole Anthropocene era, there are still some ways in which nature likes to assert its balance, keep things in check.
Mhm.
And one thing that's happening right now with California is we're coming out of a really bad drought season. And here and there, even though we get spots of rain, people are like, hey, well, why aren't we really getting a good water flow or coming from, natural sources, streams and springs and rivers and that sort of thing?
Mhm.
And we've determined that when we get all droughty and we need our water, so do all the plants in California.
Sure, all 6 of them.
There we have trees, we have the California redwoods and all that up in the
Hmm.
Sierras that
Oh, yeah,
people
well, up
forget
there.
because they kind of like, oh well, that's not L.A., so that's not California, right?
Right, exactly.
And the thing is that when the water comes to California that everybody needs, the plants are greedy. They take it all up first. So as rainfall comes down, trees get their fill and they get themselves leveled out to sated. And then they let water pass through to everybody else. And so we don't naturally see the effects of drought relief when we think we should.
Hmm.
So here's the hardline question, straight Fox News style. Should should trees get to use water first? Should they get first dibs?
All right, so Fox News style. First up, straight up, I think those trees should go back where they came from and stop taking our water and our jobs.
That's true.
Now,
I mean,
and
how do we create a border that will not allow the trees to smuggle themselves across? Because we've heard that they've been using things as sneaky as airborne spore tactics
oh,
to
those
to pass
sneaky,
through our security
dirty,
measures.
those filthy trees. No, but well, to be a little more serious, I think that that's the normal order of things is that trees get water. I mean, if you want oxygen to breathe, you got to give trees their due. That's just how things are. You can't say that the drought was caused by trees getting their water because really the drought was caused by not a lot of rain falling and because it's an arid area. The trees is just getting what they get. I mean, if trees don't get the water, then they die. Stuff goes even worse. There's no water retention at all, and then animals die. The trees wither, get dry, start even more fires, and then and then the cats start living with dogs, and it's a wild world.
That's just, yeah, it sounds like a slippery slope, basically.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
enough with the Fox News analogy. Realistically, I found this was really interesting that it was even a news story that plants
yeah.
wouldn't have an effect on drought. Naturally, they do because the drought has an effect on them. All
Mm,
of our nature, our ecosystem needs to thrive so that we can thrive. And I mean, I'm
right.
talking about the greater scheme of California, the parts that people forget, where we do have just mountains and national parks and beautiful sprawling lands and agriculture and all this sort of thing. The plants need to get all that water, and then people can start thinking about maybe I want to water my lawn or spray down my concrete driveway again because people make social judgments on the way my driveway looks.
Hmm.
Which is just a fascinating thing about that whole Anthropocene era is that, especially in California, you see just crazy terraforming of the land, and largely that's used with tons and tons of water. I don't know if that's so much true as far as Georgia goes. I mean, are people all about the
Mm.
sweet, pristine lawns with the perfect
Yeah,
grass
but
blades and everything? And
but it's much easier here. I mean, I can walk 2 minutes out of my house, and then I'm on a path down a forest that goes for miles. And everywhere you look, there's trees. You can't see the horizon because everywhere you look, there are thick, just forests everywhere you look. It's when I first moved out here, I was blown away. I couldn't believe there were still trees left. This many of them left in the city. It's weird.
in the city, especially, that's particularly fascinating because I think a lot of
Yeah.
big city areas, especially along both seaboards, they just sort of get into this mentality of clear cut and spread and develop as wide as possible. And I'd
Mm.
like to hope Georgia
Yeah.
stays kind of true to its roots and keeps things pretty true to its roots, the trees. But that it keeps things pretty and keeps that sort of natural beauty going as the movie and entertainment industry sort of ease their way on over there. Because I know a lot of
Yeah.
filmings have started in your area, and that's sort of become the new Hollywood to get to right now.
Hmm. Yeah. Actually, there's a new film studio just opened up just a few miles away from my house. Actually, it was a pretty big deal, and yeah, so it's interesting.
That's cool. I'll be right over. I'll start auditioning today.
Awesome. And then, of course, Walking Dead shoots right down the road from here, and
Nice.
yeah, yeah, South Atlanta. That's where it's
Yeah, I
at.
guess so. I've heard a lot of, particularly the Australian connection of actors that at first there were only like a handful of them. They were all sort of unionized by just sort of knowing each other. They had this own little collective, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're Australian?
Mm.
Cool, we should totally hang out." And that was a thing in California. And now it's just blown up, and they're
Mm.
absolutely everywhere. And a whole
Mm.
just exodus of Australian actors and actresses have moved from California to Georgia because they weren't in California because they love California.
Ah.
They were just going for the place where the industry was really booming. Right now, it seems to
Hmm.
be booming in your neck of the woods. So, in light of entertainment news,
Mm-hmm.
HBO did something kind of. I think everybody who ever used cable was sort of looking forward to
Mm.
seeing happen, and they're sort of headlining this new movement in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's HBO says you want to stream our content, you don't have to have a cable provider anymore.
Oh.
Previous till now, you just have to go through your dish network or whoever was giving you cable, Cox or whomever,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd log in through their account, and then you could get into HBO Go online, and you could
Oh.
watch your shows on your computer in addition to your TV that you already paid for.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, that was all tied into I gotta pay for this on
Oh.
my television first.
Okay.
And HBO is saying, not necessary. We're going to give you our content a la carte.
Nice.
And for the longest time, people thought, man, I really want cable, but I watch 5 out of the
Mm-hmm.
350 channels that I get.
Yep. Yep.
So couldn't I just go and buy 5 channels, and wouldn't that make things so much more
Yeah.
cheaper and easier and everything? And I didn't really grow up with cable. We grew up kind of poor. I don't know
Yep.
about you, if you had all that sort of stuff like
Yeah. Not
Nickelodeon and
really.
everything growing up.
No.
But thinking about like all those channels that are out there now, or all the ones that were out there back in the golden age when we were growing up, and cable was still this novel thing that only the rich kids had. What cable channel or channels do you think you would want to nab up if this just suddenly became a buffet and you're just like, yes, I will
I'll
take
take, like this
one
and this and that.
and that one and that one?
Oh man, I don't know. I do have cable now, although we almost never watch it.
Mm,
And when we do, it's like 90% of the time it's the Food Network,
nice.
and but that's really gone downhill over the past, I don't know, since I've been away.
Oh.
I started watching it again last year, and it was like these really horrible, quote unquote reality TV shows, and Iron Chef knockoffs just all day, and good quality shows like Good Eats, they're just not on there anymore. So, oh man, and so it's kind of a bummer. I would have definitely said Food Network number one, but I don't know. Comedy Central, Sci-Fi, so I can get my Sharknado fix when number
Oh,
three comes
man,
out.
you're one of those guys.
Let's see what else. IFC, because some of my favorite shows that I can't watch are on there right now, like Comedy Bang Bang.
Oh,
Let's see what else. I don't know what else there is actually. It'd probably just be those.
all right, right on.
Cartoon Network, of course, for
Oh,
Adventure Time,
of
but
course.
goes without
Yeah,
saying.
Cartoon Network.
How about you? What would you get?
I'd probably definitely have to go with Cartoon Network. That's a big one for me. I never grew out of cartoons, and in fact, it seems like the cartoon industry sort of grew up too, like
Mm-hmm.
it itself kind of matured into this thing that's sort of an all audience
Yeah.
endeavor. For me, there's one thing that I think could really tie me to a TV because I'm not great at sitting in front of TVs to begin with. HBO has done a pretty good job. Boardwalk Empire, Game of Thrones, of course,
Mm-hmm.
all these like incredibly high production shows. They're like really well drawn out miniseries, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. I don't know if these shows really do have a good encapsulated end to them yet, but I feel like the writers definitely know where they're going, and
Mm-hmm.
that makes me feel good as opposed to ones that are like very episodic and you just don't know if they're coming to a real head by the end of season 2, season 3, or if they're just trying to make more money in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I had a dream, I would love to bring back original MTV, just a station that I
Ah.
could buy to stream music videos. And I know to a degree YouTube is trying to be this avenue for that. And
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong, like certain companies like Vimeo are definitely doing the right sort of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
their suggestions are very narrow of scope and genre. And I remember a day when MTV, you could just watch like a rap song, a hard rock song, something that was more like metal, but then something that was
Mm-hmm.
more like chill, like acoustic rock, and then like a pop star, and everything would just be encapsulated within an hour or 2 hours of
Mm-hmm.
footage, and you got this wide, like sweeping spectrum of music. I just loved that. That was my
Yeah.
favorite type of radio station, which has become harder to find these days. Even we have Jack FM in California. I don't know if they have anything like that in Atlanta. That's like it's like the greatest hits from the 70s to today, all
Wow.
sort of mixed in. Like your MP3 player where you downloaded just bestsellers and you hear back to back like David Bowie and Foo Fighters, and you're just like,
Wow. Interesting.
okay, sure. But MTV back in those days, back before reality TV was realized to be this amazing cash cow formula, It was just fantastic. I could watch people's ideas for music videos all day long. I think it's one of the neatest forms of expression in existence out there.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
What's your favorite music video?
Oh man, my favorite music
I don't know
video.
if
I don't
that's
know.
easy to answer in one quick.
Oh
But
no.
think of one that
Oh
comes
man.
straight to mind that was just like, wow, that the visuals on that, it
Man.
like woke up the song in ways that I never would have expected.
Man. Well, I mean, it's probably not my favorite, but just one that popped into my head when you mentioned music videos was Bjork. Well, like most of her music videos are totally insane.
Of course.
But like Wanderlust is an amazing one.
Oh yeah, isn't that the one?
Yeah.
Describe that one. The video for that.
It's like this weird like the background is it looks like like a play dough, the clay animation sort of thing, very colorful. And it's like on this weird river, and she's going down the river on a raft, and she has like this weird backpack that kind of grows arms and legs, and she goes on this crazy adventure. Um, yeah,
Oh wow.
but as far back as man, like when I was in high school, a friend of mine had like a VHS copy of all of her music videos, and yeah, they were intense. They were cool.
VHS.
Definitely
Wow.
cool. Yeah.
I gotta say, one of my personal favorites. I don't know if it's my number one. That would take just way too long for me to try to think up. But among my top favorites has got to be "Virtual Insanity" by Jamiroquai.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's just such a great.
That's a good one.
It's such a simplistic, reductionist video as far as the the scenery. It's so minimalistic and has that kind of high tech look to it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just him dancing. And then you
Mm.
realize what's going on with the whole set and everything, and how the floor is moving out from underneath him, but you can't tell it is because it's all like a matte
Mm.
finish. And
Oh man.
yeah,
Okay. So if you and I were just hanging out at home, this is where we would spend the next 3 hours. Okay, you got to watch this one, because that happens. So I have to. This is okay. So a few weeks ago, somebody put up on Google Plus this Taylor Swift thing. I was like, what? Taylor Swift? More like Lamler Swift,
oh
lol,
man,
right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this garbage so I could laugh at it. And it was this Shake It Up video. I don't know if you've seen it,
I
but
don't think I
it's
have.
amazing. I watched it. I was like, wow, okay. I didn't know anything about Taylor Swift, but now I am a fan. Completely
Wow.
converted. It's amazing. It's totally great. You watch it, you feel great. You're like, wow, I'm in a great mood now. It's awesome. You should check it out. Shake It Up. It's yeah. It's
It's Shake It Up.
Shake It Up. Yes, Shake It Up by Taylor Swift. Check out the video on YouTube. It's
I'll go
amazing.
ahead and I'll post links below for everything that we've talked about as far as YouTube videos here.
Awesome. Yeah, it's totally cool. She does a whole bunch of different dances like ballet and booty shaking and
Who doesn't
modern
like a good booty
interpretive.
shake?
Yeah, it's cool. Like she tries out all these different styles of dancing, and it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's just fun and puts you in a good mood. I love it.
Wow. Matt, a convert to Taylor Swift. Who would have
Yes.
thought?
Yeah. Who would have thought?
That's good. Yeah, she's an American sweetheart. I
Yeah.
don't know anybody who doesn't love Taylor Swift. Leave a comment below and tell us if you possibly one of those people that does not like Taylor Swift and
Yeah.
why.
And then you will be deleted.
And give a good reason. All viewpoints are respected here,
Right.
but give us a good reason why you do or do not like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it better be good.
We will discuss.
So Thanksgiving is coming up.
That's right. This is the month. This is
coming up.
it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not.
What are your plans for Thanksgiving?
Oh man, this is always the tough one to decide when you have a huge family like I do. How it's going to happen and how everything's going to be orchestrated. My family almost exclusively handles Thanksgiving on the Sunday after the Thursday that we hosted here in the United States. I know Canada just had theirs just a couple weeks ago. So they do their whole thing in October, which is cool. It's cool. It's all good.
It's all right. Yeah.
Everybody's got a Thanksgiving. We do that because Thanksgiving Day, that Thursday, we like to make sure that each nuclear family, so mom, dad, and the kids, get to have their own special happy little day. And they have that smaller, informal, just kind of hanging out around the dinner table that everybody grew up around and have one meal. And then you wait a couple days, maybe work out a little bit, try to get off the weight from all the turkey and everything. And then we have this huge, just like, all my aunts and uncles. I have like 10 aunts and uncles.
Wow.
And then all my cousins and everybody. And as you may know from my family, I'm not sure if you've met everybody, we're a big mixed blood family as well. So just like every color of the rainbow and all sorts of people. And we invite neighbors over. Hey, do you like Vietnamese food? Yes, I do. Why don't you bring some egg rolls over and we'll just include it with the enchiladas and the tamales and the turkey and the ham and just everything and bring this huge party together. And we do it all at my uncle's house. He's got this amazing garden that extends all the way throughout his whole yard. He's landscaped and made winding paths and everything through it. And just this huge patio.
That's awesome.
We all come together and it's an amazing day. How about yourself?
Awesome.
How about yourself? You have a big family as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And unfortunately, they're all back in California. So this is the first year. Well, it's not the first year that we're doing it here, but this is the first year that we're having people over our house for Thanksgiving.
Hey.
So my parents are coming over, and then my best friend Jessica and her boyfriend are coming over. So it'll be a nice big group here.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna make my dish, which is the pumpkin cheesecake.
That I make. Is this the signature Matt Thanksgiving?
Yes,
this is a tradition for you.
Yep, yeah. This is my traditional dish. I will probably also be making the turkey. I think that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Do you have any secrets for cooking a great turkey?
Start early. That's about it. Just start early and don't be caught with your pants down and your turkey frozen. Just
so
be
true.
Prepared. Yeah.
Nothing kills a turkey more than fast cooking and just trying to chuck it out on the table.
Yeah.
That's just...
How about you? Is there something that you make?
I would say my best Thanksgiving dish has got to be, man, I haven't developed a good stuffing, and that's a life goal for me. It truly is.
Oh.
So I gotta say, man, it's neck and neck for me, and I can't quite decide. It's between my green bean casserole, which is superb, and I'm a mushroom guy. I don't know about yourself, but I gotta have green bean casserole with mushrooms and sort of a cream sauce, because it's a good counterplay to those crunchy onion things that everybody loves to put on the green beans. So I like something soft and earthy in addition to the crunchy and salty. So it's between that and a fantastic pecan pie. My family's not from the South. I mean, we're basically Finns, so I don't even know. Finns don't have Thanksgiving, I'll tell you straight up. So Finland also doesn't really have much to offer in ways of things that you would want to present people to Thanksgiving. I make a killer fish. I think that's just a Finnish blood right thing.
Is that the fisk thing?
The lutefisk is actually a Swedish thing.
Okay.
I do not
it's
recommend
all the same
it.
To me. No.
That stuff is jelly that tastes like it's been fermented in the sea. It's weird.
Wow.
It's a little weird.
This sounds weird.
As far as Finnish fish recipes go, we use a lot of dill and and lemon and we love a good steaky fish. This is totally not a Thanksgiving thing. Thanksgiving, I tend to lean towards Southern cooking. In my opinion, I guess my idealized version of what the American dream is as far as sitting down to a dinner table. We're generally really, really healthy eaters. My household, we're almost exclusively vegan with little bits of supplemented food, especially fish, thrown in there for brain health and oils and all that sort of thing. But it comes down to Thanksgiving, everything goes out the window and just butter and sugar and whatever. And I love pumpkin pie, but realistically, who can't make a good pumpkin pie? You better be able to make a good pumpkin pie.
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely.
You might have your own little secret recipe or something to make it even better, but a standard pumpkin pie is easy. Pecan pie, it's nuanced. It takes a little craft. It's a good balance of how much of the goop do you put in, how much pecan do you, and how do you. It's a thing, and I'm good at it.
Yeah, the can of goop.
That's you don't use a can of goop.
Goop.
No, goop. You can't make that stuff out of it. You can't use a can. Do you use canned pumpkin cheesecake and just slather it into
absolutely not.
A store-bought crust for that?
No.
Okay.
No. Nope. Everything made by hand. But see that's why I make the pumpkin cheesecake and I leave the pecan pie to the professionals.
Professionals cheesecake, that's nuanced. There's something to that to get the right texture and the consistency and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there a secret seasoning or herb that you sort of like? I don't want to say herb. That's the wrong sort of thing. Is there a thing that makes this a matte recipe that everybody's like, oh, this is good. This is something I've never tried before. Are there cloves in this? Do I detect a hint of cinnamon?
I don't know. It takes a long time to make. Nobody else has really stepped up to try and make it, other than me. So I don't know. I maybe it just comes down to the default. I'm the only person that makes it, so.
and cheesecake is one of those things that it's fantastic. Who doesn't love? I mean, why wouldn't you put cheesecake into any holiday where you get to have good eats? But people don't really think about this in Thanksgiving. It's not something that really necessarily comes to mind. Dear audience, please let us know what your favorite Thanksgiving recipes are. Leave comments below. Actually, leave the recipe, really.
Yes.
Let us know if you got some sort of tactic or secret sauce or
secret pumpkin spice mix.
Oh, yeah. Or the key to a great stuffing.
Yes.
Do you make your own stuffing?
I do not. I don't make the stuffing, or at least not very well. My dad will be here over the holidays, so I will have him make it along with his famous green bean casserole, which from the sounds of it sounds similar to yours. So I'm excited about it.
Oh, right on. I as well. Looking for that great stuffing recipe. I think that to become an adult, to really say I've grown up and I'm an adult in America anyway, you need to have filed away a good chili recipe.
Mm-hmm.
And a good stuffing recipe.
Yep, absolutely. I've got one of the two down. I got the chili down. No, still looking for the green bean casserole or for the stuffing.
I'm gonna have to fly over and have myself some chili.
Absolutely, come on down.
All right, thank you so much for joining us at the Sound and Vision podcast.
Thank you very much, guys.
Go ahead and leave any comments, a like below. Thanks for checking us out either on our stream, on our podcast, or if you're seeing us in live, well, I guess this isn't live. If you're seeing us on video on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It does me a solid. And yeah.
And we will catch you on the flip side.
All right. Thanks so much.
Cool.
Have yourselves a great day out.